So by now, everyone's heard about the Diddy situation. It honestly feels like a movie, except it's real life and involves some of the biggest names in the industry. And 50 Cent? He's right in the middle of it, stirring everything up like only he can. Here's what's going on. 50 Cent worked on a Netflix documentary about Diddy, but according to him, the final version was missing the real shock value. The parts that would have truly stunned people were cut out, and not because they were false, but because they were considered too dangerous to release. Think about that for a moment. What kind of information is so serious that even Netflix, a platform known for pushing limits, decided to step back? 50 has been openly talking about freak-off tapes, alleged lists of celebrities, and most importantly, the victims, the people who were supposedly harmed by Diddy and those around him. Yet, none of that made it into the documentary. According to 50, it was all quietly removed. But backing down has never really been 50's style. He's now saying he has enough unreleased material for an entire second season, content that never saw the light of day. And instead of taking it back to Netflix, he's planning to release it on YouTube, straight to the public. No filters, no corporate control. It's a bold move, but it makes sense. If he wants the full story out there, he can't depend on mainstream platforms. He has to do it his own way. So why did Netflix pull back in the first place? Some people believe Diddy still holds serious influence behind the scenes. The claim is that certain Netflix executives have long-standing ties to him, and those relationships may have played a role in stopping anything too damaging from airing. Even if Diddy can't directly shut things down, his connections could still help shape what gets shown and what doesn't. As Joe Rogan put it, the whole situation gives off a Jeffrey Epstein-type vibe. Wild parties, powerful people, questionable behavior, and cameras recording things no one wants exposed. Suddenly, everyone has something to hide, and that's exactly what 50 Cent says he's trying to uncover. This isn't just about Diddy. It's about a larger system, one where power, fame, and influence protected people for years, while others stayed silent or looked the other way. And now, slowly, that system is being challenged. 50 isn't just going after Diddy. He's going after the entire system. Usher and Justin Bieber have both hinted that some shady things were happening behind the scenes at Bad Boy. They were young and vulnerable, surrounded by people who were supposed to protect them. But according to allegations, those same people took advantage of them. Now, years later, they're slowly starting to speak out. But speaking out isn't easy. There's a lot of fear and a lot of pressure to stay quiet. If you go against Diddy or anyone that powerful, you risk getting blacklisted. Your career could be finished. That's why so many people stay silent, even when they know something is wrong. That's exactly why 50 Cent's role matters so much. He doesn't care about being blacklisted. He's already made his money. He has his own platform, and he isn't afraid to say what he thinks. In a way, he's become the last line of defense against a system that's been rigged for a long time. What's even more shocking is that 50 reportedly has around 140 hours of unseen footage. That's an insane amount. The story goes that Diddy was filming everything, believing he would beat the case and later release a documentary proving his innocence. But now that footage is in 50's hands, and it could be the very thing that finally brings Diddy down. Then there's Neil, Diddy's right-hand man. He allegedly appears all over that footage, organizing things, interfering with witnesses, handing out addresses, offering bribes. That's straight-up obstruction of justice. And 50 is sitting on all of it. Even Diddy's lawyers could be in serious trouble. If they were involved in any kind of witness tampering, they could face charges as well. At this point, the whole situation is spiraling out of control. But what really makes people angry is that this isn't just about Diddy. It's also about the Hollywood elites who allegedly protected him. These are the same people who pressured Netflix to remove names from the documentary. They didn't want anyone exposed who still holds power in entertainment, politics, or business. That's why the list of Diddy's alleged accomplices was cut. Protecting themselves mattered more than justice for the victims. It's disgusting. And you know what else? Tupac's family wasn't even included in the documentary. Tupac's family has been investigating a possible connection between Diddy and Tupac's murder for years. They believe the truth was intentionally buried, that money and influence kept witnesses silent. Tupac's own brother revealed that Diddy called him back in 2008 and claimed he had nothing to do with Tupac's death. But Tupac's brother told him directly, the truth is still yet to come out. And now it looks like that truth may finally be coming to light. It feels like the documentary deliberately ignored the fact that other people were involved. Diddy wasn't running everything alone. He had help from former staff, artists, and industry insiders. And they all stayed quiet because they were afraid of being blacklisted. But this is bigger than Diddy. It's about the entire system. Look at New York City Mayor Eric Adams. The politicians connected to him are resigning one by one. People might not connect the dots, but it's all related. The federal government is going after politicians because of their relationships with Diddy. And then there are the rumors that Diddy was running something similar to an Epstein-style operation, filming people at his parties. Luke from 2 Live crew even said he had to leave one of Diddy's parties early because it was too wild for him. Too wild for Luke. That says a lot. Now the entire industry is turning on 50 Cent because he's exposing them. Executives, publicists, artists who look the other way are suddenly facing scrutiny they never expected. They're angry at 50 because he's blowing up their entire operation. And what's really messed up is that they're trying to frame it as jealousy. Like 5-0 is just mad because Diddy can get women. But this isn't about jealousy. It's about the truth. It's about holding people accountable for what they did. Diddy has even talked about suing 50 Cent and Netflix for $1 billion, but he'll never actually do it. He knows that if he does, 50 will release all the tapes and evidence he has. He's cornered. And 50 isn't stopping with documentaries. He's even said he would call Trump to make sure Diddy never gets a pardon. That's how serious he is about this. The reality is that Diddy only avoided a life sentence because of his fame. One of the jurors was reportedly a fan of his. She was starstruck during the trial. That's how broken the system is. But now the leaks, the tapes, and the testimonies are out. 50 Cent isn't stopping, and neither are the people demanding answers. The real question isn't just whether Diddy will face justice. It's whether the entire system will finally be held accountable. And this whole juror situation is crazy. They're saying one of the jurors was basically starstruck by Diddy, and that's part of why he avoided some charges. I mean, seriously, that's not justice. That's fan service. They're saying one of the jurors was a fan of Day 26, and you could literally see the excitement in her eyes whenever she was around Diddy. It was like she was at a concert. She nodded when he nodded, reacted when he reacted. That's insane. How can anyone be impartial when they're openly fangirling over the defendant? At the same time, there was another juror who clearly wasn't convinced. He questioned why Cassie kept going back to Diddy. And that's where so many people completely miss the point. They don't understand trauma bonding. They don't understand how Diddy allegedly controlled Cassie's career, her money, and her entire life. According to the claims, he threatened to release tapes, threatened her mother, and even sent bodyguards to bring her back when she tried to leave. It wasn't as simple as just walking away. Yet people still blame her, like she had real freedom or a choice. That's messed up. And what makes it worse is that no one in hip-hop wants to talk about it. They're scared of being canceled, scared of losing their careers, so they stay silent. And that silence makes it look like the culture is okay with this behavior. That's why voices like 50 Cent matter. He's not afraid to call out the nonsense. He's willing to upset people and take risks to push the truth forward. But this isn't just about Diddy. It's about the entire system that enabled him. Record labels, media companies, politicians, they all benefited from his success, and they all looked the other way. Now they're scrambling. They're distancing themselves, acting like they didn't know anything. But people aren't buying that. This is why 50 Cent is getting so much backlash. He's exposing them. He's forcing them to confront their role in all of this. And it won't be easy. They'll try to discredit him. They'll try to silence him. They'll use their power and influence to protect themselves. But 50 isn't backing down. He has tapes, testimonies, and public support. He's not letting this slide. The fact that he's even willing to go as far as contacting Trump to make sure Diddy doesn't receive a pardon shows how serious he is. Whether people agree with that or not, it shows his level of commitment. This whole situation is a mess, but it's also a wake-up call. It shows how power corrupts and how fame can shield people from consequences. It reminds us that no one should be above the law, no matter how rich or influential they are. Most importantly, it reminds us to support the victims, to listen to them, and to help them get justice. Because without justice, there's no peace. And without truth, there is no justice. Now, all that's left is to see whether the truth